a characteristic of living being. So look, I have a question, and I want first you people to attempt answer me uh, for this question, and let me guess who is going to answer it. So my question is that there are a number of the characteristics between living and non-living. So the topic is characteristic of living. Characteristics of living. So you have to tell me one characteristic of living which do not have any exception. My question is that you have to tell me one characteristic of living which do not have any exception. But growth, okay, Fatima. So you have to tell me one characteristic of living which do not have any exception, right? And means it clearly defined that this is living and that is non-living. But my condition is that it must not have any exception, right? There are a number of the characteristics between living and non-living. So Fatima, okay. So Fatima told me that the characteristic is growth. Okay. So I'm starting from the growth only. The first characteristic is that is growth. So first, please let me know what is growth. What is growth? How we can define growth? Look, last month, like 2 months back, my weight was approximately 75 kg. And what I did, I kept on sitting on the seat and kept on teaching you people, and I gained a weight of 3 kilograms, right? So now my weight is 78 kilograms, 78, 79. So it was 75 and now it's a 78, 75. So can you say that my biology teacher is growing? Is it true or not?
No, sir.
No, I'm not growing. Okay, Ashwita. Why? Okay, Fatima. No, I'm not growing. Why I'm not growing?
Sir, only your weight is gaining.
Only weight gaining. So growth is that is increase in mass, isn't that? No. So what is growth?
Increase in mass and what?
Mass and
Height.
height. Okay, fine. He's roughly he's correct. Look, what is growth? Growth is irreversible increase in mass. So that is a condition. It should be irreversible. Today, I am of 78. So suppose that from one fine morning, I am going to start gym and I'll become 78, 72 kg. So would you say that the sir is now growing negatively, right? And no. It's not. Actually, it was not. It was a reversible process. So in fact, it was not a growth. So
Only
before,
height is irreversible.
exactly right. Height is irreversible. So why? Because that is increase in the mass of bone. So increase in mass is growth, but provided it must be irreversible. Write it down. Growth is irreversible increase in mass. Growth is irreversible increase in mass. So what happened when a child start growing? What happens? Its bone is growing by deposition of calcium in its calcium and phosphorus in bone. So the height of a child is increasing. So suppose that now a child reaches to the height of 4.4 feet 5 inch. So it is not going to reduce anymore. So increase that is a irreversible increase in mass. So growth is irreversible increase in mass. And keep on writing, continue writing with this point. Generally, all living being, have this property, and growth is not found in non-living. So growth is a factor which defines that particular thing is living or non-living. So does it have any exception? Yes, it do have an exception. Let me tell you. So growth is a characteristic of living, and this is not a characteristic of non-living. But there are some non-living which have this characteristic. First example is that, let me tell you exception. So first exception is that, suppose that exception. So first exception is that what I am going to do, I have a nail and I have put this nail outside of my house in a wall. So I have put this nail and it is made up of iron. So the weight, or we can say mass of nail, is 5 gram. What will happen after 2 or 3 months? I put out this nail and again taken the mass of this nail. What happened during this 3 months? What happened? The process of rusting started. Rusting started, and due to this rusting process, addition of some moisture and addition of some oxygen molecule taking place in this nail. What happened? Now I am weighing the mass of this nail. Now the mass of nail is, that is not 5 gram, this is actually 7 gram. So what happened? It is showing growth. And you know that in rusting process mass increases. You must have gone through it like in your chemistry classes.
But this is reversible.
It's not reversible process. Actually, rusting is not reversible process. It is irreversible process. When any nail or exfoliation takes place in any iron nail or iron pot, that is not rusting. Actually, that process is called what? Rusting leads to corrosion, right? That is corrosion process. That is different process. So in rusting process, mass always increases, and this is not irreversible process. One more important. But it's not a living. Yeah, right. That's why it's not a living. So growth must not be over there. So it should not grow, but it's growing. So that is an exception. A non-living is growing. Then growth is not a perfect characteristic to define that particular thing. So on the basis of growth, like if anything is growing, that is living. So this mountain, this nail should be living, but it's not living. It's a non-living. So non-living is growing. So that is a characteristic of living. But this characteristic you found in some non-living as well. So let me tell you one more important. You must be aware with highest mountain peak of the world, that is Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Mount Everest, many of you might be knowing that this is plate tectonic theory, which tells that Mount Everest or Himalaya are at the point of convergence zone where two plates are colliding. Due to collision of this place, every year 2 centimeter growth is 2 centimeter positive growth is taking place in Mount Everest. Means every year Mount Everest is growing by 2 centimeter per year. So this is growth. Mount Everest is also non-living, but it's growing. And there are number of exceptions. So there are 2 exceptions. So it means growth is a characteristic of living. Metal expand due to, so it can be called as metal expand due to like deposition of oxides and all that. So that is a sort of growth, right? So growth is taking place in non-living as well. So note it down. Growth is a characteristic of living, but growth is characteristic of living, but there are certain exceptions. Like rusting, but there are certain exceptions like rusting and Mount Everest, which are non-living but show growth. So this was a general characteristic. This is the general characteristic growth, where I told that growth is a characteristic of living, but it is not perfect characteristic because it have some exceptions, right? There are some exceptions where non-living are also showing growth. But let me tell you one thing. So the question was in medical, like a question have been asked in your medical examination, and the question was what we call growth of living. So growth of living have particular or specific term. What is that term? Look, let me tell you. So there is a big difference between growth of living and non-living. I would like to be more specific. So if we talk about the growth of living, so in living, what happened? Inside living, the growth takes place from inside of body, means it comes from inside. How? I have a small kid. What happens? He's taking all calcium kind of food, like he's taking milk, he's taking curd, and he's taking rest of the things which have calcium. Now the calcium is phosphorus is getting deposited in his bone, and he's growing gradually. So growth is taking place. So growth is taking place from inside of his body, right? So in living, growth is always internal. In living, growth is always internal. And this kind of growth, like in living, when growth takes place from inside of body, so this is called internal growth, and we use a particular term. That term is called intussusception. Into SUSCEPTION. Write it down. Make a star. When I say make a star, it means this is important question for your NEET examination, right? Make a star. In living, the growth is internal. In living, the growth is internal, and growth is internal, and such type of growth method, such type of growth method is called intussusception, and such kind of growth method is called intussusception. Next. Now what happens with the non-living? Make a second star. So what happened in non-living? You will see in all of non-living, the growth takes place due to deposition of material from outside of their body. So growth is not external, internal. Actually, here the growth is external. In rusting process, in Mount Everest, in all these examples. So what happens? Deposition of material takes place on outer surface. That's why the mass of non-living increases. So in non-living, growth is external. We also have an exclusive term for growth of non-living. Here we use term accretion. Accretion. So note it down. Make a second star. In non-living, growth is external. In non-living, growth is external, and it takes place, growth is external, and it takes place due to deposition of material, and this method of growth is called accretion. Is it clear to everyone? This point crystal clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So move to next point. So what is the next characteristic of growth? Next characteristic of living? There is one more characteristic of it, that is reproduction. Reproduction. Yeah, this kind of this type of characteristic is found only in living. It is not found in non-living in general. So like suppose that every plant have capability to produce its offspring in small plantlet. Every dog have capability to produce like puppies, and every cow have capability of producing cubs, and every these humans have capability to produce their children, right? So every organism which is living is able to multiply, either it's bacteria or it's animal or it's plant or it's fungi. So it have capability to produce offspring, and they exactly look like themselves, right? So they can produce their carbon copy. So this property is called reproduction, right? Non-living cannot grow. Non-living cannot reproduce. Like my phone cannot reproduce, and it can never become two phones, right? It will always be single phone. This stylus can never reproduce. It can never become two, right? Itself, right? So reproduction is the process which is found in living. So this is characteristic of living. Fine, note it down. It is the formation of new individual. It is the formation of new individual of it is the formation of new individual of similar kind. So we can say there is a great statement that life arise from or life comes from life arise from pre-existing life, pre-existing life. It comes from pre-existing life, right? We'll study in cell biology hominus vivum ex vivo, right? That is a statement. So it's actually a statement that is in Latin language, hominus vivum ex vivo, right? And the meaning of this statement, hominus vivo ex vivum, in medical examination, it has been asked that who given this statement, hominus vivo ex vivo, right? So this life comes from pre-existing life, right? It means in English, life comes from pre-existing life, right? That is reproduction. So yes, true. Reproduction is the process. Write it down. Reproduction is the characteristic. Reproduction is the characteristic which is found in living. Reproduction is a characteristic which is found in living, but it is not found. But it is not found in non-living. But it is not found in non-living. Means every living organism must have capability to produce its offspring, but there are some exceptions. What kind of exception? This is also not a perfect characteristic. In exception, we can say
Planaria.
Which one?
Planaria.
Planaria.
Yeah, sir, but that is not that is an exception, right? Because
Uh,
that cannot be called as reproduction.
no, it's a reproducing asexually actually.
But
Planaria
that
has,
is regeneration, right? We learned last year regeneration is not that.
yeah, regeneration is found, but planaria have capability of reproducing asexually and asexually
If
both.
we cut only, then only it will become two, right?
Yeah, that is a regeneration property, but planaria have capability of reproduction. It have reproductive organ as well. We'll
Okay.
study in animal kingdom, right? We'll discuss in animal kingdom, but it have highest regenerating power. That is very true, right? Look, very simple. Transgender, you know transgender.
So the exception would be the donkey and the horse if they combine.
Right, exactly, Aswarya. That is mule.
Yeah.
Mule. Yeah, that is also accepted. Mule. Mule is like hybrid of donkey and a horse, right? They are sterile. They cannot produce their offspring. Even in humans, they're transgender. Transgender means eunuch. Those people who are neither male nor female, they do not have capability of producing their offspring. So they are living, but they cannot reproduce. So there is exception. Clear? One more. That is respiration. So before going to this this characteristic, you have to tell me what is respiration exactly. What is respiration actually? There is that chapter respiration in human physiology as well, and your plant physiology will study in detail. But before that, I would like to know what is the definition of respiration. Any one of you? Gautam, Fatima, Zana, tell me what is respiration? Simple. Aishwarya, Mike.
Production of energy by the cell by the
Production
metabolic
of
process.
production of energy
By the cell due to metabolic process.
Good. Very good. Good. He's correct. Exchange of gases. Fatima, exchange of gases is respiration. That is not, sorry, exchange of gases is breathing. That is not respiration. Breathing is part of respiration. Normally, 99% people think that breathing, like exchange of gases, is respiration. Actually, that is a process of breathing. So that's why I ask you. Most of the students think that like that way. So what happens? Organism, they inhale oxygen. So they take oxygen, they inhale oxygen. So they take oxygen. What happens? This oxygen goes to our lungs, then it goes to our blood, and blood transport it till our cells. So inside cell, what happens? Burning of food takes place, or we can say technically oxidation of food takes place. So burning of food takes place. So food burning takes place inside our cell. Food burning. What happened? Burning of this food, formation of carbon dioxide, formation of energy takes place, and there are some more things like water and sometimes it's alcohol. So here we are studying just for sake of definition. So carbon dioxide and energy is generated. Now what happened? The organism remove this carbon dioxide from its body, so carbon dioxide is exhaled. So actually this part, exhalation and inhalation, means this part is called breathing, and actually this complete process is called respiration, and this is called food oxidation, right? And this complete process is called respiration, this is called breathing. That's how the generation of energy takes place, and this process is called respiration, right? So, and sometimes this is also called cellular respiration, we call it this process, cellular respiration. Actually this process takes place inside our cellular respiration. This process takes place inside our cell, that's why we also call it cellular respiration. But there are certain bacteria, they are living. So respiration is the process which is found in living, it is normally not found in non-living, but there are certain exceptions which do not require any kind of food burning, they do not require any kind of exchange of gases, but yes, they do able to generate energy to survive and to carry on their metabolic process. Exceptions are sulfur bacteria. Actually sulfur bacteria, they neither take carbon dioxide or neither take oxygen, neither remove oxygen or carbon dioxide. What they do, they just break sulfur molecule. They break sulfur molecule, and from this sulfur molecule they derive electrons, they take electrons, and by this electron they carry on electron transport chain, and with the help of this electron transport chain they generate energy. So they do not require this complete process of respiration which have been mentioned above, but sulfur bacteria are living, right? So this is sulfur bacteria is exception of respiration. Note it down. Respiration is the process in which burning or oxidation of food, takes place, and energy is generated inside the cell of organism, and energy is generated inside the cell of organism. So that is called respiration. Next point. Respiration is the characteristic of living. Respiration is the characteristic of living, and not found in non-living, Next one, full stop. Sulfur bacteria are the exception. They take energy by breaking sulfur molecule. One more. Next, fourth characteristic is locomotion and movement.
Sir, they take energy by taking.
They take energy by breaking sulfur molecule. Actually, they are chemoautotroph. So the precise term is chemoautotroph for them. They make food by chemical, and chemoautotrophism is found in archaebacteria. So only archaebacteria can do this kind of the thing. Rest of the bacteria even do not have capability to derive energy from any chemical. But archaebacteria are a special kind of the bacteria, and we have studied in last class. So archaebacteria have last class. Archaebacteria have capability to derive energy from this chemical, and that's why they are called chemoautotroph. They make food with the help of chemical. Okay. So locomotion and movement. So locomotion and movement, yes, it is the property of living which is found in living. Like most of the living, they have property of locomotion and movement, but there are certain exceptions. What kind of exception?
River is moved.
River, even in living some exception, like sponges.
So like the
Sponges.
Plants.
So what happened in sponges? Sponges, they kept on to stick on some rock. So they stick on some rock, which is called substratum, and they kept on sticking on this rock throughout their life. They do not move. They do not have any kind of movement, right? They do not have locomotion. They do not have movement. So sponges are living, but they cannot move. At the same time, plant do not have locomotion, but plant are living. So it's easy. Note it down. This is characteristic of living, but there are certain exceptions. But there are certain exceptions, like sponges. Like sponges are living animal. Like sponges are living animal, but they do not have capability of movement. Fifth, consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness means responding to any
to
change.
sense something.
Yeah, to sense something, right? Exactly. To sense something means responding to any change. For sake of example, I'm sitting, I'm teaching you. Suddenly, someone come from back and he or she poke me. So what will happen? Or he or she put a nail or pin or inside my back. So what will I will react again, right? So that reaction is what consciousness. So there is something change which taken place in environment and I'm reacting. So suppose that it's a dog, it's sitting outside of the street and suddenly rain start. So what will happen? That dog will start running from that point and it will try to hide and get some shelter. So he or she like have consciousness, right? So consciousness is responding for its environment. But sponges, so this is the question of medical examination. So like 2 or 3 years back, there was a question, three years back, there was a question that which animal do not have nervous system? Actually, sponges are the only animal which do not have nervous system. Means they do not have consciousness. They do not change. They do not respond to any change in environment. Note it down. Consciousness is awareness of surrounding, and responding to any change, awareness of surrounding and responding to any change which is taking place, responding to any change which is taking place in environment. Full stop. So what we use a term for these changes? So suppose that someone is coming in front of me and he or she is putting some torch in my face. So due to high light intensity, I will close my eye. I will put my hand in front of my eyes, and I will try to protect my eyes from this heavy light or heavy flashes. So that is a sort of some change in environment. So what will call this change? Someone is putting light. So what is light? Light is a change. So what we'll call this? So anything which is a change or anything against which any body or organism is responding. That is called stimulus. Note it down.
Stimuli.
Stimuli is plural, stimulus is singular. So if there is one factor, this is singular, this is stimulus, and number of factors, that is called stimuli. Note it down. So stimuli, that is plural. Stimulus is any change in environment, against which nervous system respond. Full stop. Sponges are living animals. Sponges are living animal, but they do not have. Sponges are living animal, but they do not have any type of nervous system. So there are a number of the list of the characteristics. These were the major characteristic of living, but they all have exception. So what is the answer of my question? Tell me one characteristic which do not have an exception. That is one characteristic. I have that characteristic, and that characteristic is metabolism, or we can say metabolic reaction. That is the only characteristic which do not have any exception, right? Stimuli is number of, like stimuli is plural of stimulus. Stimulus is singular, like one change is a stimulus, and there are number of the change, that is stimuli. Like if somebody is dropping light inside by in front of my eyes, that is a stimulus, right? If somebody is putting torch in my eyes, and somebody is like throwing water on me, right? And like air is blowing from somewhere, so there are number of the stimulus, so I will call it stimuli. So stimuli is plural of stimulus. It's Latin actually. So when we in Latin, when we make plural of something, so we take, so stimuli is, there are number of stimulus, is called stimuli. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next characteristic. So I'm telling you, metabolism, there is across this earth, across this world, there is not even a single living organism which do not have metabolism. And on this earth, there is no any living, non-living, where metabolism is going on. And there is not even single exception of this characteristic. So metabolism is the only characteristic which define that particular thing is living or not.
So they can ask this thing in need, right?
Yeah.
So they can ask in need, right? Which of the characters?
Yeah. Actually, this question have already been asked. So that's why I was telling you, right? This question, and look, it's a very simple question. So my intention to teach you, that's why I'm telling you these points in detail. This question, this one, intussusception, AIMS examination, NEET examination, accretion, NEET examination, right? So only the simple question, what we use the term for external growth which takes place in non-living, and the answer was accretion. And what is the term, exact term for the growth of living, and the answer was intussusception. Straight question, simple question, right? And this question was also a medical exam question, that this question, sponges. So whenever I ask you to make a star and note it down, means you understand either this question have been asked, or this is the concept from where you can get the question in the examination. So now it's metabolism. This is also a question which has been asked. So metabolism is the only character. What is metabolism? Look.
Catabolic and anabolic?
Yeah, catabolic and anabolic. So how can we define metabolism?
It is like the sum of total of chemical reaction occurring in an organism.
Right. Very good. Acha, tell me one thing. So suppose that I have a jar. This is a tumbler. And what I'm going to do, I'll put a bread in this jar. This bread is made up of starch. Now, what I did, I taken out some enzyme from my stomach, natural enzyme. And these enzymes are those, suppose that this enzyme is amylase. I put this enzyme. And now the digestion is taking place in this jar. Can I say it metabolic reaction?
No.
No, sir.
So what is this reaction as well? It's a
Sir,
biological,
because it's
Enzymatic.
like
it's a biological reaction. It's not metabolic reaction. Actually, it's a biological reaction. You can use term biological reaction, but it's not, right? So, and in the same time, let me make you more clear. In the same time, suppose that I do the same experiment and there is some chemical which I have poured on this bread. I poured some chemical on this bread, right? So this chemical this may be artificial amylase or some other artificial chemical enzyme, so which is digesting the bread. I will call it in vitro chemical reaction. This is chemical reaction, simply in vitro chemical reaction. So what is metabolic reaction? Metabolic reaction is only that reaction which goes on inside. So suppose that it is my stomach. This is my stomach. And now the same bread inside my stomach. The same bread particle, a starch particle inside my stomach. What happens? Now the enzymes are coming out from my stomach wall, like, and they are digesting this bread. Now this is called metabolic reaction. Like, this is called metabolic. Write it down. So metabolic reactions are the sum total of all chemical reaction, sum total of all chemical reaction occurring in an organism, due to a specific interaction of different type of molecule inside the body. So that is called metabolism. Now the metabolism or metabolic reactions are of two types. There are two types of reactions. So we can say metabolic reactions are of two types. So
Catabolic and anabolic.
exactly. What are the catabolic reactions? Catabolic and anabolic. So we all are aware with the term called catastrophe, means something is getting destroyed. So catabolic reactions are those reactions which are destructive reactions. So all those destructive reactions which are going inside our body are called catabolic. What kind of destructive reaction? Example is digestion.
Breathing also?
Yeah, exactly. Respiration is also example of catabolic reaction. Why? In digestion, the complex food molecule, the complex food molecule are broken down into smaller, simple one, right?
Yeah, like amino acid, fatty acid.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Protein is getting broken down into amino acid, and carbohydrate is getting broken down into glucose molecules. So that is a digestion process. So means that is catabolic. Something is broken down, right? In the same time, in respiration, burning of food is taking place. So food means glucose is burning. So glucose is getting burned and it is getting converted into carbon dioxide and water.
Energy.
Exactly, and energy. So something is broken down. So that is also a catabolic reaction. In the same time, anabolic reaction. So what is anabolic reaction? All constructive reaction. All constructive reaction going inside living. Example, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. So what happened in photosynthesis? Formation of food takes place. Something is getting formed, something is constructed, something is synthesized. So formation is formation of food. So that is anabolic reaction. In the same time, inside our body and plant body or any animal body, protein synthesis takes place. Protein synthesis. So amino acid getting accumulated in the form of chain and formation of protein takes place. That is called protein synthesis. So these are anabolic reactions. So catabolic and anabolic reaction do not goes on separately, or these both reactions takes place simultaneously. For sake of example, every day like 80 lakhs of RBC are getting destroyed inside, like they are getting dead. So 80 lakhs RBC in a human body, they are completing their 3 months. So they have completed their lifespan and they will die in 2 days. So what will happen? All these are getting dead. So these dead RBC are going to our organ called spleen. The spleen is breaking down. In the same time, so that is catabolic process. In the same time, in our bone marrow, these new 80 lakhs RBC are getting synthesized or getting formed. That is anabolic reaction. So catabolic, anabolic reaction, both are going on inside our body in the same time. So that's why we call that metabolic reactions keep on going inside our body. Every living organism have metabolic. If it is dead, it's not living, it's non-living, then the metabolic reaction stops over there, right? And there is no exception of this characteristic. Please note it down. Note. Metabolic reactions are the only characteristic. Metabolic reactions are the only characteristic is defined that particular thing is defined that particular thing is living or non-living. Particular thing is living or non-living, and it do not have an exception. So this was all about the characteristic of living being. Any doubt, any query, any question? Any doubt? No doubt. All clear?
Sir, can you say any example of anabolic reaction in human beings?
Yeah, anabolic, like protein synthesis is taking place. That is anabolic reaction. Every day, multiplication of cell. Today after the class, you will go to bed and I'll go to bed. What will happen the next morning when we'll wake up? What will happen? We will see that there is something, a layer kind of the thing accumulated inside our cheeks. So what is that? In cheek cell, actually inside our cheek cells. So there is a layer of cells. So these cells are getting divided. These all cells divide and makes multiple layer of epithelial cells. So that is anabolic reaction takes place every hour. Healing process, anabolic reaction. Clear? Any more question? Okay. So let's move to next topic. And the next topic, what I told, so that is binomial nomenclature. So what are the rules of binomial? What is binomial nomenclature?
Name of living organisms?
Right.
Like for an like 2 names are given for an organism.
Exactly. Two names are given to every organism. Binomial nomenclature. We have binomial nomenclature. Yes, we are following that. Every one of you have 2 names. Aishwarya Roshan, 2 names. Faik Khan, 2 names.
Sapien.
Gautam have single name. Gautam, you are not following binomial nomenclature.
Homo sapien.
Homo sapien, right? Zaina is also not following binomial nomenclature. So let's follow the binomial nomenclature.
Sir, I have
You have, okay, great. So even I do follow. So what is binomial? Every organism across the world will have 2 names, right? So look, what is the purpose behind it? Why this system was, first let me tell you, this system was developed by a scientist, and the name of the scientist is what?
Carolus Linnaeus.
Right. So his actual name is Carl von Linnaeus. His actual name is Carl von Linnaeus. But there are three names. So he is the person who designed binomial nomenclature. So first he did experiment with his own name. So the person he named himself Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, this is not the way to write Carolus Linnaeus. And now the binomial Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus is not his actual name. Actually, this is his binomial name. Means this is his biological name. So his actual name is Carl von Linnaeus. So you will everywhere found Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus, he put his own name, binomial nomenclature. So what is the way to write the binomial nomenclature, and what is the rules for that? And this thing is defined in his book, and the name of book is what? Species Plantarum is his book. Remember his name of this book. It have been asked medical examination. Always remember the name of books which has been written by scientists. They always books statement, two things, like who given ominous cellula e cellula, who given this statement, like protoplasm is physical basis of life, who given this statement. These are the questions which has already been asked in your medical examination, right? So these kind of the questions. And next, like what is the name of Linnaeus book? So his name of his book is Species Plantarum. Species Plantarum is his book, where he mentioned the binomial nomenclature. Like what is the rule for that? Look, what is the purpose behind it? Suppose that I know name of a name of a tree, and the name is neem. This is not English name, this is a Hindi name, right? And if I talk somebody who's from Africa that neem have medicinal value, he won't be able to understand what I am talking about. Are you aware with this name, this plant, neem?
Common name is the binomial nomenclature, right?
Exactly. Common name is that, you know, it is a regional name. It belongs to particular area, and across the world people won't be able to understand. So the purpose behind it, making it global. So when if you call, like if you tell any American or any European, any Portuguese, any African that neem, he won't be able to understand, because neem is not found in those areas. So it is a inhabitant plant, or it's a native plant of India. So it is found in Indian subcontinent, around the countries around the India. It is not found in everywhere, right? So it had medicinal value in our country in India, but it's not that much popular in the rest of the world. So what he did, it's the name, biological name is Eza dialectica indica. Tell anybody Eza dialectica indica, across the world all scientists will come to know you are talking about the plant, and the localized name of that plant's name. You are talking about the name. He must not be aware with this name. So making uniformity across the world, so that everybody understand what you are talking about which animal you are talking. Like for example, tiger. So we call it Panthera tigris. Panthera tigris. That is binomial name, that is biological name, whatever you want to say, you can say. Banyan tree. So what is banyan tree? Banyan tree is called Ficus bagalensis. Ficus bagalensis. So there are so many names. So what he said in binomial nomenclature, first thing, if any plant or look, the name of organism will be either in English or in Latin. And if particular organism do not have its English or Latin name, for example, if it is a plant which belongs to Arabian subcontinent and its name is in Arabian, and the name of that particular plant or animal is not available in either in English or Latin. So what you have to do, first you have to name this particular organism in Latin. Then you will write the biological name. Write it down. First point. The name of organism should be in English or Latin. The name of organism should be first rule. So first rule of Linnaeus is the name of organism should be in Latin or English, and if any organism do not have English or Latin name, it should be Latinized first. Means if that organism have its name in Arabic, so first we have to put the Arabic name we have to convert it in Latin. Why Latin? In bracket, wrote it down. Latin is dead language. Nobody speak across the word Latin. Latin is dead language. So the changes in this language is not possible. So that's why we Latinize it. Clear first point? First rule clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Second, so every organism will have two names. So first, this name is called generic name. Means it is the name of genus, right? And the second one is specific name. Specific. So this is genus and this is species. So binomial name means every organism's name will be composed of two components. The first component is genus and the second component it is species. Let me explain you the next. So this is the second. Third one, the name should be written separately and in italic, and that should be underlined. The first letter of genus will be in capital letter and the first letter of species will be in small case, right? Note it down. Each organism given only one name, consisting of each organism is given only one name consisting of two words. First generic and the second first generic and second specific name. First generic and second specific name. Full stop. Next point. Third point. Generic name written first and its first letter will be in capital. Full stop. A specific name will be in second position and will start with lowercase and will start with lowercase. Full stop. Next point. Name should be written in italic. Name should be written in italic and both should be underlined separately. So these are the rules for binomial nomenclature. Clear to everyone? Or you have any confusion? Any doubt?
Sir, can you repeat last point?
Yeah. Name should be written in italic. Name should be written in italic, and it should be underlined separately. And it should be underlined separately. Clear? Any doubt?
No, sir.
It's simple. And what is the next point? Next, I told you I will tell you key. What is key? Can somebody tell me what is key? Anyone? K-E-Y, key. No idea? So before telling a key, I want to tell you one more thing. That what is taxonomical hierarchy. By the way, you all must be aware with that, but still I want to share with you what is taxonomical ad. What is hierarchy? Classic. Look, this is taxonomical hierarchy. What is taxonomical hierarchy? Actually, this is the address of any organism. So what happened? Let me tell you one thing. There is just a minute. Okay, there is one thing that we always, whenever we write address, we always write it pin code. Pin code. So if you will ask my pin code, I will tell you that 210 and 203. 210-203. So what is this? This is my exact address. How does? The first two that define my country. Then further country divided into state. 0 define my state. 3 define my district. Then again the 4th digit that define my sector. This 5th digit that define my society. And the last digit that define my post office. So with the help of pin code, you can reach till my post office. Means you will be around me. So that is the process how we reach. So what we did, we divided a country into states. Then again, state divided into district. Then again, district divided into sectors. Then again, sector divided into colonies. Then again, that colony is divided into post offices.
Sir?
That's how the division. So this is the classification. In the same way, in animal or plant classification, what happens? Every like kingdom is divided into phylum, number of phylum. Then phylums are further divided into classes. Then further classes divided into order. Further order divided into family. Family divided into genus, and genus divided into species. So this is the hierarchy. So in hierarchy, at the top there will be kingdom. Then the second hierarchy will be phylum. In case of animal, a plant, in place of a plant, we do not use term phylum. So in plant and animal classification, yes, Fakia, are you asking anything?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, sir, the species will be pardas, right? In this one.
Species are?
Species in the leopard will be pardas, right? Not Panthera pardas, right?
Right. Like Panthera tigris, it's a species. And you know, further species is divided into what?
Genus?
Genus divided into species. Kingdom divided phylum. Phylum further subdivided many classes. Every class divided into many order. Every order divided into many family. And family divided into many genus. Genus further divided into species. So the name leopard, that is Panthera pandrus, right? So Panthera pandrus. So Panthera is genus and pandrus is species. A tiger, Panthera tigris. So leopard and tiger, they belong to same genus, but their species is what? Different.
Sir, lion also, right? Lion.
Yeah, exactly. Lion also. So they all belongs to cat family, Felidae. Lion. Look, lion,
Felis.
tiger,
Felis.
leopard, these what to say, puma, right? They
Cat.
all cat. They all belong to same family, Felidae. There is called family of cat. And you know, Felidae family, now their genus is different. They belong to different genus, and they belong to different species, right? Okay, clear? So
Yes, sir, clear.
this is the hierarchy. Is it clear to you, everybody? Clear to all of you? Fine, it's simple. So now come to the my point. We were discussing what is key. So key is the thing which help you to classify any plant or animal. So what is key? So I told you key is a taxonomical add. What is taxonomical add? Taxonomical add means it will help you to classify. It will help you in classification. Means it will help you to tell my address. How? One fine day, one of your friend, like he is living in Delhi. So he said to me, he said to you, he was discussing you, and he said to, I'm going to particular area, and you say, like, it will be better meet to my biology teacher. So, and he's saying that how I will come to know that person. You will tell my name. So he will tell you like without knowing that person, how I will search him. So now what you are telling him, now you know my society. You are telling him that I am this kind of the person, and this is my name, and you saying him goes inside inside the society, uh, like his house is double story. So his house is double story. Single story house do not belongs to him. Next, you are telling that his house is red colored. White color house is not his. Now he'll say that he lives in second floor. He do not live in first floor. Then you say, when you will reach to that house, color of his gate is that is red, and no yellow colored gate is his house. So what you are doing? You are telling him a list of characteristics. A list of characteristics. On the basis of these characteristic, that particular person will anyhow find my house. And these characteristics are helping that person to find my house. And every characteristic have a property that it have one positive point and then it have one negative point. So on the basis of the list of this positive and negative characteristic, definitely that person will reach to my house, because all those positive and negative characteristics will match with only my house, not any other house, right? So if the person will reach at my house, he will match all the positive and negative characteristic, and he will say that particular, yes, this is the person's house, this is that person's house, right? And he will reach to me. In the same way, so what we say, these characteristic, positive and negative characteristic, pair of these, couple of these characteristic are called lead, and list of this characteristic is called key. Clear? So in the same way, when we classify any organism, we make a list of characteristic, means we make a list of characteristic, that is called we make a key. And key have what? Leads, many leads. So on the basis of lead, we matches positive and negative feature, and we are able to classify any organism. So this is the thing which help us to classify any organism. Is it clear to everyone? Clear? Or any confusion?
No, sir.
Raina? Clear? Pike?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Fatima? All clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So write it down. Key is a taxonomical aid. Let's stop. It is a list of paired characteristic which is used to identify any organism. Full stop. Each statement of the key is called lead. Each statement of a key is called lead, which have a pair of contrasting characteristic. Clear? So there are a few more things. I will just tell you orally. They are very simple. Like zoological park, they are zoo, where we go, we see animals which we cannot see normally. So we see those animals, and when we visit any zoo, you will find a list of characteristics. You will find the classification. You must have gone to zoo, and you will see the name of that organism, that biological name of that organism, classification will get. So I think you must you won't have focused on that a small that is structure which is over there. Either it's made up of stone or it's made up of iron, and you'll find it has been written over there. That is the name of this organism, the country which is belong to, and what is the characteristic and what is the classification, right? So zoo, where number of organisms. Museum is that point where antique thing you will find, like those things which are even you will find fossil. Go to any museum, you will find fossil records. You will find the historical record of that organism, and you will find in the form of a specimen. You won't find anything living, but you will find in the form of a specimen. So that is museum. And botanical garden. So botanical garden is artificial park like structure where you will find number of medicinal plant, number of important plant, and you will be able to understand these plant. The second point, Gautam, which one? Can you give me a hint? The second point.
Sir, after key is a taxonomical aid.
Key is
The point you wrote after key is a taxonomical aid.
Key is a taxonomical aid which help us to identify any organism. Rest you have noted down.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what is botanical garden? So botanical garden, you will find number of the plants which have medicinal value, which have like and all those things. So this is the botanical garden. Herbarium. Many of you might have made it at your home. Herbarium is a file where that is a file. It have some pages, and in file what you do, the pages are like this kind. And when you'll go to a bookshop, they will give you this kind of pages, and there is a box like a structure where you will find to write it down. We write it here classification, and here either we put if it's small, so we put a dried plant over here. If it's not small, it's a big plant, so we put leaf, flower, or some part of that plant, and here we write the classification and characteristic of the plant. So this kind of the file is called herbarium. So this is all about the chapter first, living world. If you have any question regarding this chapter, you can ask me now. Any doubt? Any question?
Sir, which is the most important part that will come for NEET?
Most important part. Are you talking about the complete syllabus or this chapter only?
This chapter, sir. This chapter.
In this chapter, these are the things which I told you, explained you elaborately. These are the question actually. So you have to focus on characteristic of living, and then next binomial nomenclature and the key. These are the three things which are very important for your medical examination. Very important, right?
Okay, sir.
And this conceptual part is very important, right? Any more question?
Sir, how many questions will come for the chapter in NEET?
Hardly one question. Hardly even one question. Even if it doesn't come, it's not. You must not wonder. It's just introductory part. It's an introductory chapter. But sometimes they do ask. Sometimes they do ask. Even for in 12th class, you will find reproduction in organism. That is just this introductory part of the chapter. But you know, there are 2 lines of the NCERT from where 3-time question have been asked. These 2 lines. So what is the in how many year bamboo flower? What is Neel Kuranji? That is a question which has been asked. So you know, we cannot leave these chapters. So we have to cover these chapters. Sometimes they do ask, but it's not mandatory. Hardly they ask question from these small chapters. Any more question? Zaina? All clear?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Ashwarya, Paik, Gautam, Fatima,
Yes, sir.
all clear?
Yes, sir.
So let's meet in next class, and we'll continue with whatever I have left in last class, like my on Sunday class. Any more question? Any more doubt? You can ask. No doubt? No question? Okay. Fatima, any question? Any doubt? No? No doubt? No question? Pike? No question?
No.
Okay. Right. So see you in next class, and we'll continue with this, whatever we have left in Sunday's class. Right? So bye-bye. Take care. Good night to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
night.
Welcome. Okay, welcome. Bye. Good night, all of you. Bye. Welcome, Gautam.